Understanding the 3 C's for influencers. Want to become a huge influencer? To earn money just by posting pictures wearing free clothes? To have the power to command the opinions of a great audience? To open up incredible opportunities you hadn't even dared dream of? It's all possible, and in fact, it's very simple, once you know how. One easy way to remember just how simple this is to grasp the concept of the 3 C's, and that's precisely what we'll be discussing in this presentation. Here they are. Content. If you want to build a following and become an influencer, then the number one thing you need to focus on is content. That means you need to create amazing blog posts, videos, podcasts, Instagram images, or whatever else. The point is that this is what people are going to follow you for. If you don't have great content, then you'll find that people don't come back. How do you define great content? Simple. It must provide value to the viewer. This can be value in the form of entertainment, information, or motivation. But whatever the case, it must offer value. The next C for influencers to learn is community. Of course, this is referring to the community that you build around your brand and the people who follow your content. Creating a thriving community is one of the most powerful things you can do as an influencer. Not only does this give you the chance to speak directly with your followers, but it also gives them more reason to keep checking back and to stay engaged with your brand. They've made friends, and they're taking part in discussions. Communities are also what make a brand feel more like a movement, rather than just a cynical business. Our final C is connection. This, of course, means connecting with other influencers and gaining the kind of prestige and influence that comes from that. Once you enter any new niche, you will find there is an established community of top creators, people who reside over that niche and who provide most of the content. If you can ingratiate yourself with that crowd, then you will not only gain free exposure, but you'll also gain the endorsement of people who your audience already trust. And this can make a huge difference to your overall status and impact. Time to introduce yourself. Which social media platforms should you build your influence on? If you want to become an influencer, then you need to build yourself an audience and connect with people that share similar interests to you. Sounds simple, right? Except that it's something that thousands of people want to accomplish and only a few actually manage. So where do you start? The first step, of course, is to choose the platform you want to build your influence on. Are you going to be the next big Instagram celebrity? Or do you want to become a YouTuber? These are both examples of places you can build influence, but they are extremely different in the way that they work. Let's start out by taking a look at the options, and then define how to best choose from those. Here are the best options for influencers. Run a blog. Blog on other platforms like medium.com or quora.com. Post to Instagram. Create YouTube content. Create a Facebook page. Create a Twitter account. Post to Snapchat. Use Vine. Use Twitch. Use Tumblr. Of all these options, I highly recommend one of the following 3 for most influencers: Instagram, YouTube, personal, self-hosted blog. While you can build social influence on any of the platforms mentioned, those 3 will lend themselves best to the process. That's because they allow you to post in a more personal manner, using your own name, and in a way that is highly discoverable for strangers. If you try to create an influence with a Facebook page, for example, then people won't know to find you unless they actively look or see your post shared by a friend. Twitter is also great for letting people to get to know you in this manner, but it doesn't allow you to post large amounts of content, limiting your influence. Don't get it mistaken. You should be on all these platforms ideally, and they all have benefits. But you should also focus on one main one, and that should be one of those 3. Which one of the 3 should you pick? Well, that comes down to a few factors. Firstly, you should pick the platform that is best fit for your kind of content you want to create. Great at photography? Then Instagram is a good pick. Prefer writing? Go for a blog. You should also consider your target audience and where they are likely to spend time. Look at the demographics of each platform, along with the kind of content that typically goes there. Ultimately, the right answer is the one that you feel most comfortable posting to for years to come. Did you know that with 200,000 followers on Instagram, you can charge an average of $1,000 for a sponsored post? That means posting an image where you are wearing a particular item of clothing or consuming a supplement. It's an extremely easy way to make a lot of money that takes just 5 minutes. Now imagine how much you could earn if you had millions of followers. This truly is a cash cow, but there are a few caveats. Firstly, if you don't have millions of followers, then you might mistakenly believe that there is no way to sell sponsored posts like this. As you have already probably guessed, that is incorrect. You can actually make a lot of money as what is known as a micro-influencer, as long as you have the engagement. The key is to become more proactive in going out there and finding those advertisers. To do this, you can either try messaging them directly or using sites like Grapevine, which connects advertisers to creators. Either way, the key is to actively go out there and look for sponsors. But it gets better. Because think about it. If someone is willing to pay $1,000 for you to post an image wearing their shoes, what does that tell you? 5 personal branding tips to help you stand out as an influencer. Becoming an influencer is increasingly difficult. With so many people trying to stand out on Instagram, you need to work harder than ever before in order to be noticeable and memorable. Keep listening, and we'll explore 5 personal branding tips that can help you do just that. 1. Have a mission statement. A mission statement is where any serious branding should begin. This is your statement of intent, and it's what you are pledging to do for your audience. A mission statement should this way outline not only the product you're going to sell, but also what sets you apart from the competition, and why you chose to start your business. This is your why, and it is what will help people to really get behind what you are doing as a movement. 2. Know your audience. No brand should try to appeal to everyone. This is a very common mistake. Instead, you should aim to appeal to a specific type of person, which will be your buyer persona. This way, you'll be able to direct all your efforts to appealing that singular demographic, giving you a clear and consistent message that will set you apart. 3. Express yourself with your logo. Your logo should express all this, as should your web design and the type of photos you take for your social accounts. In short, someone stumbling on your blog or your social page should immediately know if your brand is for them or not. 4. Be consistent. Once you've found your groove and you have a message and an audience, the next crucial consideration is to ensure that you are consistently putting out high-quality content that will serve that mission and audience. This means consistency in terms of output, keep posting, but also in terms of your message. Make sure that you are constantly appealing to the same people with the same kind of content. 5. Live the dream. Finally, remember that you are going to become an ambassador for the lifestyle you are preaching. You therefore need to embody the dream that you are selling, or the value proposition. If you post about relationships, then your Instagram should be filled with images of you and your partner doing things together. If you post about fitness, then you need to look healthy and happy. 5 ways to build your followers and increase your influence. Being a big influencer means being an online celebrity. It means having a platform and a brand that lets people follow what you have to say. And it means being able to generate huge amounts of traction for pretty much anything you post. You'll open up incredible new opportunities too. From being invited to give interviews to being approached to write books by big-name publishers. It's certainly a great thing to aspire to, but it can take time and effort to get to the top. If you're at the start of your journey now, then listen up. We're going to share 5 tips that will help you get to that endpoint all the faster. 1. Work with big influencers. The best growth hack for influencers is to find other big influencers to work with. This way, you not only gain free exposure to their audience, but also endorsement from names that people in the niche already trust. This is massive. 2. Make a name in existing communities. Another tip that is less well known is to make a name for yourself in other communities. No matter what niche you choose, there is most likely a forum somewhere filled with people who are fascinated by that topic. If you can find that forum, post extremely regularly, and demonstrate your generosity and broad knowledge, then people will trust you and want you to succeed. 3. Write a book. I mentioned that becoming an influencer could lead to publishing deals, but this also works the other way around. If you have something to say, get an agent and seek out a publisher. A book will give you huge exposure and massive credibility. Just look at Tim Ferriss. 4. Get qualified. Another strategy is to get qualified. That means becoming an expert in your chosen field, which will immediately mean that people take you more seriously. You'll find that people are more likely to listen to your advice, and that other brands and creators are happy to endorse you and to recommend your advice. 5. Get media coverage. Another excellent strategy for getting your name out there is to look for media coverage. You can do this by doing something noteworthy that the media would want to share with its readers. That can amount to publicity stunts, but it can also mean giving interviews to share your vision and mission. How to choose your niche as an influencer. If you plan on becoming an influencer, then you first need to do some strategy and think carefully about how you're going to plan your attack. And you really should think carefully. That's because the decisions that you make now, before you first get started as an influencer, will do more to shape your future success or failure than anything you do subsequently. In particular, you need to think hard about your niche. In this presentation, I'll guide you through the process. The first and most important thing to consider when choosing your niche is whether it is something you know well and feel passionately about. It's tempting as a marketer to look at the current biggest niches and the ones that traditionally earn the money, then to pick the one that appeals most to you from there. But this is a mistake. Firstly, it is a mistake because a lack of real passion for the topic will come across as you write and post. Moreover, it's a mistake because you won't have anything new and interesting to contribute. Think about it. Who reads fitness content? People who like fitness. That means they probably know a bit about fitness. And if you're providing the most generic, surface-level content imaginable, then they're going to go elsewhere. To be a thought leader, you need to lead. And that means you need to stick with what you know. That isn't to say you should shy away from niches with a large appeal. Of course, having a bigger potential audience is a good thing. So try to pick a subject that is universal, like sex, money, health, etc. The problem is that doing this can also leave you as a small fish in a massive pond. How will you compete with the huge health brands like Men's Health, or the established money influencers like Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com? The answer is try to be more specific and to hone in on the exact niche that really interests you and that speaks to your audience. This might mean something like health for seniors, for example, or making money online for students. Another option is to combine two popular niches in a unique and interesting way. Either way, doing this will shrink your audience, but also help you to engage much more strongly with that audience once you find them.